please like and subscribe.
Dan, again, welcome to the program. We appreciate having you on. And tell us a little bit about yourself if you want to, how you got started, but specifically your project also.
So, I mean, I'll go from the beginning. I mean, the idea came to me because I'm big and obviously into sports and been in crypto for like 6, 7 years now. And I wanted to launch a project, but I didn't want to just launch a meme coin or something that, didn't have any true utility behind it. I'm big into playing fantasy sports and sports betting. I've been doing that for like, I don't know, 10, 15 years. And, I'm a six-figure earner on FanDuel. I've done really well on their contests and stuff. So, I think one night I was setting a FanDuel lineup up, and it kind of that's the light bulb moment hit me of let's mix fantasy sports and crypto, two things I'm passionate about, that I can get behind. And I did my research and realized that there really wasn't anything to the level of my idea that had been being implemented within the space. So I spent about 9, 10 months, kind of game planning exactly what I want to do, how I want to do it. And then I launched the project back in December of 2021, and we were super successful early on. A lot of hype behind us, with all grassroots. No, we didn't do any marketing or ads or anything like that. I think the craziest story too was that we launched. One of the mistakes I would say I made too was just not launching with more liquidity. So we kind of had to make up for that over the time. But we launched at 1,000 market cap, $1,000 market cap, and took that up to 25 mil within the first 30 days. And
Holy
but I
crap.
mean, it worked out. We gained some major investors. We've got some private investors that initially they gave us $300,000 to build out their platform. We're a zero debt company. We raised all the money just based on some ownership of the platform revenue, and then later on actually raised another couple 100,000. So overall, we've been able to raise about a $500,000 in funds without taking out loans or giving an arm and a leg to a venture capitalist firm. So it's been an exhilarating ride, but I mean we launched the platform just under a year ago, and started really just building out what we have and building out even in a bear market.
Yeah, so I did not know you were that successful on FanDuel because I've tried that several times and I'm not very good at it because I bet too much with my heart instead of my brain. And so that's very impressive. So let me ask you, so just for a little bit of background for those that are watching and maybe haven't seen us before, and we've been talking about your project for, well, since the beginning.
Yeah.
So we were in it early. We've been tracking it since day one. I believe we may have been the one that told Holly about it when it came to that, and she was all excited about it because she's a huge sports fan too. But when it came down to what you were doing, it has I don't really see any copycats out there. If there are, there haven't been very successful. So how are you able to do that with the vision that you have and not have people that are trying to copy what you've got going on? Is
I
there
mean,
is there a
the
strategy
easiest thing.
there or
No, I mean, honestly, the crazy part about it is it's because we're doing things by the book. Like we have one of the largest attorney firms in the nation in the sports and or fantasy sports and crypto. Or, I'm sorry, fantasy sports and sports betting industry representing us, and this is what they specialize in. That was really big to us to make sure we had somebody that's knowledgeable in the space because the biggest thing we didn't want to come into this like a lot of I think big area a lot of crypto projects come into is they just think because it's crypto they can do what they want. There's no regulations or they can get away with things too, and that's just not the case. Like we got our letter of opinion. We actually initially started as an LLC, and then when we brought on the attorneys, we dissolved the LLC and formed an actual corporation out of Delaware, which is big for shareholding and just fundraising later on as well. A lot of fantasy sports companies and sports betting firms are formed out of Delaware for legal and tax purposes too. So that really helps us. But I mean, it's a lot of projects don't take the time to look into what this space really involves. Like you can't just operate in the United States without certain things. There's only certain states you can operate in without being licensed. And then a lot of the ones that even if you get licensed, there's taxes on them that you have to pay on monthly, quarterly, annual basis as well. So that's really got to get a CPA involved. It's just there's a lot that goes into it. And then like our platform, we've got a geolocation tracker that tracks where people are coming from. So if they're in a non-licensed state, it sends them to our free side of the site where they can still play on the platform but and win money without depositing cash. And then we've got KYC set up. That's another thing that's big in the crypto or in the fantasy sports world. And then just there's a lot of other things like we've had to go through all the banking regulations to just get the fiat side set up, our merchant set up. So it's just I've seen a lot of actual companies or projects come out that try to somewhat copy what we're doing. Nothing to the extent of what we're doing with integrating our token and the full crypto ecosystem built into it. But I've seen a lot of them that have done fantasy sports and crypto, and most of them were rug just gave up on the project because the actual legal ramifications outweigh what they could possibly make.
Yeah, because there were actually rules they had to follow.
Yeah.
Maybe they didn't research that very well. You bring up an interesting point. So where I live in Missouri, my land, one of my fences is the Kansas border. So in Missouri, I can't use platforms like that, but in Kansas, I can. So if I live in Missouri, what's that?
So you just walk over the corner of your property and
Well, that's what I was going to ask you. So does it matter where my address is, or can I just walk over to Kansas and do it
That's where
there?
your phone's at.
Yeah, because like for
Oh.
example, I was driving up from Florida recently, and I was trying to actually place a sports bet while I was on the road, and I forgot what state I was in, but it was blocking me from actually using the platform because of the state I was located in. So it has nothing to do with your physical address. It's all based on your physical location.
I'm in then. Because it's literally a 2-minute walk to Kansas from where I live. I just got to walk to the other end of my property. So,
There you
so
go.
let me ask you this.
Wait, I have a question on that.
Yeah, go
Real-
ahead.
How about using a VPN? How do you navigate that situation?
Can't really speak too much on that. We refer in our Telegram, Victor Nancy Papa. I mean, VPNs are used for what they are. I mean, a lot of our geolocation will block it or catch it, but I mean, VPNs are made for a reason, so they're sometimes able to get through. And
Yeah.
that's as long as on our end we're doing everything we possibly can do to stay within legal ramifications, then we're doing what we can. So we've got it set up. We're using reputable companies doing that. Like I said, the KYC process too for withdrawal process, but some VPNs are pretty good.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this then too on that. So security has probably got to be a really big thing that you guys have to worry about when it comes to that. It is nice to know that as long as you're doing what you can on your end, then it doesn't really affect if somebody gets smart. But security wise, is there anything that you guys do differently than other people or have to do differently because of what you're doing with your fantasy sports?
Not really, because like our funds are like the nice thing right now, the way we have it set up is if you're withdrawing through one system, I actually have to manually approve it on the back end. So there's like a checks and balances process in the back end to ensure that there's no fraudulent activity. If someone like hacked your account and tried to withdraw your funds, I can actually see that. The other thing is that you're linked to a specific bank account within your account. So if you're trying to withdraw funds, again, I can see the transaction. We haven't had any issues. I mean, we've been pretty good, and we have certain setups with our devs to check for any type of activity or if anybody's trying to create duplicate accounts or anything like that. But our back dashboard is pretty intuitive and gives us a lot of access to everything that's happening.
So I'm going to ask you a couple questions because I do believe there's going to be a lot of people that are watching this that don't know much about what you got going on. And I may know the answer to this already, but you don't just have football on your platform, correct? So
No,
can you
we
tell
do.
us what you have going on there?
Yeah, so we do all the four major sports. So we got NFL, MLB, NBA, and NHL, and then we have a custom contest that's okay, 1 second. That call coming in. And then we also have combat sports where I can actually create contests for MMA, boxing, etc.
Wow.
Yeah, and you've had some watch parties with those too, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, we had a couple of UFC fighters did some watch parties with. Actually had the representative of one of them reach out to us that was interested in doing kind of a partnership deal. So we're exploring that too.
Very cool. And you've got some pretty cool sponsors that have been on Twitter and pretty active with that.
Yeah, actually, we just had a former NFL player, Demarius Randall. He popped into our Telegram just yesterday, and was hanging out with us too. So he's one of our biggest supporters. He's personally invested a lot of money into our company as well, or into actually into the tokens. He's bought some pretty large buys, so he's all in, and we're doing some NFTs with him. And actually, one of the other things, I'll give a little peek into what our future plans are, but we want to branch off into doing fantasy sports for esports and gaming. And he's really big into gaming and streaming, so that'll be another thing that we're working on with him.
Wow. Okay.
Cool.
So for the people that don't know, when I go to your platform to play fantasy sports, am I using the DFS Mafia token?
Not yet. So that's like the biggest thing, biggest catalyst of what's going to catapult us, because once that happens, it's game over for us. That's what sets us apart from every other fantasy sports platform. Nobody truly has not just cryptocurrency integrated into fantasy sports, but an actual ecosystem and building a token where it's used as utility. And I'll get into a little bit more detail how that works, but I've actually had some really good calls in the last couple of days. The only thing that's held us back from turning on the crypto on the platform is banking regulations. Pretty much every bank that we've talked to either says they're okay with fantasy sports, but they're not okay with crypto, or they're okay with crypto, but they're not okay with fantasy sports. That's the biggest reason why nobody in this space is doing what we're doing, because nobody's done it before. But I had some really, really good conversations. Actually, I had a business call today with a CEO of a company, and there might be something there. We kind of just had to think outside the box and go a different route. And I'll give a props to Kyle from Nobility. He put me in touch with this guy, so we're looking pretty good. But yeah, I mean, once that happens, the token will be actually integrated into the platform. It's already built and ready to go. We have the full build out. It's hidden on the platform right now because we don't have the bank approval. But once it's integrated, you'll be able to enter contests using our token. It'll be paid out using our token, which will create volume within the platform using a transfer tax. So essentially, our fantasy sports platform will act like an exchange would with volume without the actual buys and sells. And then there's a lot of other things which are pretty proprietary that I'm not going to get into. But once crypto turns on, it opens up so many revenue streams and other options for us that it'll catapult us.
Yeah, that's what I've been waiting for too. So, like I said, we've been on this journey with you since it launched, and I've kind of been thinking about that, and what you just said makes me very excited, because if you want to play, then you have to have, if you're going to do it in crypto, then you got to have that token, and then there's volume being generated off of that. So, if you set that up, if you get that approved and you get that set up, will DFS Mafia token be the only token you can use?
Initially, yes, just because it provides us with our main utility. But I've had more discussions about it and really open up to it doesn't take away from the use of DFSM within the project. If we say we open it up to accepting Bitcoin or Ethereum, now you have a lot more people that would be interested in potentially using their Bitcoin or their Ethereum or whatever to play on our platform. We take profits from each one of those contests, just like Fiat does, and then we use those profits to buy DFSM. So there's actually some more positive reasons to use other tokens as well, because of the fact that we can then use those profits to buy DFSM. We're obviously not selling the tokens. I mean, our whole idea is to buy up the supply, to pinch the supply, and help increase the price of the token.
Good deal, because you can't have mine. So let me ask you this: is there a way that on the back side of that, or the back end of that if somebody was to buy it, say with Bitcoin, that it actually transfers that to DFS Mafia so that there is a buy there, and then when they go ahead and maybe they win, so they cash out, they get it back in Bitcoin, and there's a buy sell there? Or am I thinking too far
No,
out?
I mean, that's getting into some of the stuff that I want to hold back on a little bit.
Okay.
But that is part. No, I can speak on it a little bit. That is part of the idea. There's so many ways and even beyond what you mentioned, where we can turn the fantasy sports platform into a way to generate insane volume for the project itself, whether it be through a tokens used to buy DFSM and then to sell it in the payouts. The only thing is just it's really figuring out logistics on if there's a lot of price movement during the contest, how those numbers work out. But that's one of the
That's a
big
good point.
reasons of getting crypto integrated, because there's just so many ways we can work this to our benefits, especially to help the price of DFSM.
Yeah. No, that's a good point. I hadn't thought of that. So let me ask you this when it comes to the platform itself. So we say DFSM, but what can people actually put wagers on? Are they putting wagers on games? Is it just fantasy sports? Can you explain to the people what that may look like if they've never logged in before?
Yeah, so right now it's a player prop style contest, so it's not betting, and that's a big thing that differentiates between fantasy sports and sports betting is that fantasy sports is cumulative information like data and knowledge and accumulating points to rank you, whereas you could just bet money on an outcome, and if you get it right, you win money. You could get a player prop correct on fantasy sports, but that doesn't mean you're necessarily going to win any money. So it's more of a cumulative data and knowledge and skill than just more of a luck. So when you log into our platform, obviously deposit funds into your wallet and they can enter contests. They have various entry fees. And the way it works is you're just selecting anywhere from 5 to 10, and it's preset, but you're selecting 5 to 10 players and selecting their over or under on their props. So initially, it's a very easy setup for even the most novice, fantasy sports player. If you've never played fantasy sports before, it's very easy to understand how it works. So just for example, say you have Josh Allen, I'll say over under 315 yards passing and rushing. And
Under, always the under.
always the over. So like the over, because he's projected for like 350 that game against the Chiefs, would be like maybe worth 80 points. And then the under would be worth like 100. So it's not even picking, the most, obvious choices, but you kind of got to pick some of the underdog plays too, because you might get them all right, but pick all the ones that are more favored to actually happen. But you might have somebody that picked a couple underdog picks, hitting the under or over, whatever one's worth more, and those end up paying out more than just getting them all right. So it's a lot of strategy and knowledge, but again, it's very easy because all you're doing is we have the pre-selected props. You're just picking, do you think they're going to go over or under whatever the selected stat is, and then it adds up the points on it.
I got to tell you too. So I let everybody know that where I live, you can't I can't actually bet. I guess if I walked into Kansas, I could, but I have logged on and I have played some of the free things that were there. It is a very easy platform to use for a guy that doesn't do a lot of FanDuel and things like that. I didn't have any questions. It was super easy so I hope people will check it out because it is very user friendly. And there's really nothing to be intimidated by that. I saw it. And I know that you guys are very active also when it comes to social media, and you guys are very active in Telegram and things like that. So I hope people check those things out and kind of see, maybe even go back in time and see where you started to where you are now. So they can have that security too, that you guys aren't going anywhere. Like, this is something that if you can't tell by the posts that you put out there and the things that are easily found, you are super passionate about this project, which is what got me interested in the first place.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this, and we aren't the type of people, and we say this to everybody, but we really do mean it. We are not the type of people that will pry for things. But is there anything out there that we haven't touched on that you want to discuss? Because I never want somebody to leave here and go, oh man, I wish we would have talked about XYZ.
Well, I will say two things, because I also promised the community I'd drop kind of a bomb in here.
Yeah, you did.
You did.
I was trying to be nice about it, but where's that bomb at?
Two things. I want to encourage everybody to jump into our Telegram, especially like we're using this NFL season as like a kickoff to the next step of our marketing and just community involvement and making people realize, like, look, bear market was here. We built through it. We didn't go anywhere. We're going to continue to build. I mean, I know you're kind of referring to it, but we just put up a post about how we just signed a 2-year contract to renew our API feed. That is not cheap. And I mean, we just signed a 2-year contract on us. We're not going anywhere. But I would encourage everybody, especially for during football games and during the football season, to jump into the Telegram and be active on the platform, even on the free side if you're not in one of our licensed states, because we're going to make it extremely exciting during games and during the contests where we'll be doing random giveaways, constant buy contests, just random prizes for random giveaways and prizes for active users on the platform. So even if you didn't win, if you were just active on the platform every day, you have a more likely chance to, whether it's a signed sports memorabilia or DFS token drop. I do that all the time, and that's going to be continuous throughout the season. And then, like in the Telegram, it's going to be going bonkers between constant buys and just, oh, you're active in the Telegram, I'm sending you this autographed, Jonathan Taylor rookie card, whatever. So we want to use that NFL season to build the excitement. And I mean, I'm a very giving person. I like to give out things. Like, I don't take a salary from this company. I don't sell tokens. I don't do anything. I love to give back to the community. So you'll be seeing a lot of. They call me the Mafia Santa. I have a little meme that comes out. He's making an early appearance this year with the NFL season, so he's a very giving person. But
no, and you know what, Dan, that is 100% true too, because I want to share some things that I've seen throughout the year. And one of the things that I am the most disappointed about is the fact that I didn't win the Forrest Griffin autograph gloves, because I thought that was one of the coolest prizes that was out there. I saw that. I was like, oh, I really want those, because I've been a huge fan of his forever. But you're right. Go ahead.
Did you see how he did videos for each person that won too?
I heard that. Yeah, that hurt just a little bit more inside that I didn't win.
Right now, I'll tell him to send you a pair.
That would be awesome. I'll wear them to the next podcast. I'll talk like this.
I'm gonna make that happen now.
That would be so sweet.
Have him record it and then just be like, Holly's the best bro.
No, that will ruin it, Holly. That will ruin it. No, but you know what, Dan, I do want to say something before you get to you dropping some bombs here too. But
yes,
what we have seen throughout this journey is transparency for your project, open lines of communication through your project. I have seen you guys with the giveaways to the people that are active. I've seen the things that you say are going to happen, and I don't know that they're, besides not winning Forrest Griffin gloves, I don't know that I've ever been disappointed with a project. And I don't say that lightly, because I know sometimes people do watch this, and we always say not for financial advice, but there are people that will go, oh, they're really behind this, I had to get into something. But I do say it because it's true, because I have not seen anything that would make me think that this isn't 100% not only just legit, but something that people can get behind and really enjoy the ride and play games while they're doing it, So kudos to you guys, because this is something we've been super excited about. And you know what? I was supposed to wear a Chiefs jersey today, and I just remembered I have a DFS Mafia hoodie in my closet. I should have just put that on. Yeah, I actually have.
Wait, I don't know. Merch, because I thought that it was dropping next week.
No, there was a way to get merch a long time ago.
We did initially launch the merch through a provider out of the UK, and just the shipping times were delayed all the time. I know they had some issues with it.
It took a while to get it. Yeah.
Yeah, they had some shipping issues, and then I'm transparent with everybody, like you said, and I wasn't satisfied with the quality. Like, some of the stuff was showing up, the sizing was different. When they sent me my samples, they had dirt on the sleeves of the white hoodie. I was like, so it was a very short stint with them. Luckily now we actually have somebody within our community that is local here in Buffalo that's going to be doing it. So
awesome. I
can have more hands-on, involvement. He's a diehard DFS person too, so we don't have to worry about him going anywhere. He's actually friends, with me. So, we're relaunching the merch on Monday. We'll have some fun stuff to go with that as well, but much better quality. stuff all the time for DFSM, obviously.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
just
a super merch girl, so I love.
I have DFS Mafia
Say
merch.
no, I have like every crypto shirt out there, so I'm so excited. That's like really exciting to me that you guys are coming out with your merch line. I'm so looking forward to the white shirt with the DFS in blue. I already have it picked out. I'm excited.
Yeah, funny story, Dan, is that did take a while to get here, and I know you got new suppliers, so we can say this because I don't want anything that I would say to hurt anything, but I actually gave up on it showing up, and then one day it just showed up in the mail. It literally was like 60 days later, and I was like, oh, I did get my sweatshirt. So, and then the sizing was a little bit different too, so I'm glad you're going with a different company.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing that bothered me. I don't want our community getting anything less than 100%. So
Yep.
that's why we stopped advertising it. We cut off ties and found something better.
Gotcha. So, Dan, what else you got for us?
Oh, go ahead.
So I know you guys liked that Las Vegas billboard post, and the community really liked that one too. There was more to it, so we got a pretty good deal. Two other parts. So we are launching another PR campaign. Actually, the guys just messaged me while we're on the call here. We're doing another PR push through a bunch of different websites, Yahoo, Fox News, things like that. Spread the word. Really, like I said, using the NFL season as a catapult for our next step of really branching out. But I thought one that was also really cool that we can advertise in and try to build our user base too is we'll also, the exact same time as the billboard in Las Vegas we'll be running a billboard in front of SpaceX for a week with a promo code to sign up for the platform, which, because we're licensed in California to build users out there. So we'll actually have a billboard in California running in front of SpaceX and one in Las Vegas at the same time, starting right before the NFL season next week and lasting through the first weekend of football.
Very cool.
Awesome.
Very cool. Yeah, so Vegas is our jam. That we actually spent our 1-year anniversary there and had a great time. Where's the billboard at in Vegas?
I remember the boulevard. I mean, it's right by one of the major hotels.
Okay.
I don't remember what the street was, but I posted it in our Telegram. The guy sent me a video of where exactly the billboard is, and then they have people on the ground that'll go up there and take photos and videos for us, so that
it looks like it's right behind the MGM Grand.
Yeah,
right behind the MGM Grand. So that's very, very cool.
I think it's great because not a whole lot of people promote crypto in Las Vegas, and actually, I'm not even sure it's allowed, or it might have not been back then. Because I always wondered why somebody hasn't promoted, like, got a billboard there, and then I heard rumors it wasn't allowed, and so I think this is awesome because there's so many people in Vegas.
And ours comes out as fantasy sports too, which that's the nice thing about it is it's promoted as sports instead of just crypto. So
That's good.
Yeah.
That's
very awesome, Dan. Very, very awesome.
Very awesome. And then SpaceX, who doesn't want to promote in
I don't know. It was a package deal. I was like, give us the discount if we do both of them, and then we'll do a PR campaign with it as well. And I'll tell you this just to build the suspense on it. I keep dropping a little bit more bigger and bigger information of what we're doing. We have a major event that has been locked in that'll be announcing probably this. Yeah, actually, it's already public in some places, so I don't know how long I can keep it quiet. But I'll be announcing a big event this weekend, and then probably right before the NFL season, I'll be announcing really big news when it comes to DFSM and revenue sharing. And that's a big one that people have been interested in. You'll see that we're here to stay and that I'm personally fully invested when I drop that bomb, because that bomb will show how giving I really am and how I'm fully behind the project and how I want to see everybody make money. So the bombs continue to increase. I've got other ones too, but I keep building them up to bigger and better things each time I drop something.
Any other bomb you want to share today?
Oh, I'm like, are you sure you
Breaking news.
I'll you know what? Screw it. Because I got to announce it this weekend anyway. And you guys are dropping this till tomorrow, right?
Right. It drops Friday, around noon each tomorrow.
All right. We'll drop it tomorrow because I don't know how long I'd keep this a secret. But there was rumblings about it, and I announced some information on it earlier this year. But we are hosting our first annual DFSM celebrity hockey game. And it's going to be here in Buffalo at Buffalo River Works, which is a outdoor facility. It's right on the water. They got multiple rinks, and then they have like a huge restaurant. They're going to be backing the promotion on it, and sponsoring it or I mean, not sponsoring, but hosting it. And it's Brad May versus Rob Ray in a celebrity hockey game. People can sign up and play with their athletes. Our patch will be on the jerseys. We'll be able to advertise. There's a meet and greet VIP after the event. It's pretty huge.
So, like, I
That's
can buy
awesome.
tickets and go to this?
Yeah. So I'm trying to figure out exactly how the ticketing is going to go. I know the players will get a +1, so with their guests, and then we're going to be selling some tickets to the VIP after party with Brad May and Rob Ray. You get they have like a Q&A session. They have food. You can get pictures and autographs with them and things like that too. It's funny because this opportunity came to me through somebody within our community that played semi-pro hockey, and Rob Ray was always my favorite player as a kid. Like, I loved watching him. Obviously, Brad May was up there too, the dog pound line in the '90s. But Ray was like, I met him multiple times, the coolest guy in the world. And the opportunity now to be coaching him in a celebrity hockey game that we're sponsoring, and it's titled too, first annual DFSM Celebrity Shinny Hockey Game. We plan on running this every year here in Buffalo, and actually, as long as everything works out, we want to expand it into other territories as well and sponsor it throughout the country.
Well, maybe we ought to host a podcast that same weekend in Buffalo.
That'd be cool.
Trip to Buffalo. I love New York, so
That will be awesome. Maybe you could hook us up and we'd be able to maybe interview a couple people or something like that too. I don't know. That's awesome though. Things like that, I think, is you guys are very community driven already, but things like that just bring people even closer together. And plus it gets the name out. I mean, it just checks all the boxes. That is very, very cool. Very cool.
It's really about building. Our idea is to build the brand. Like, we're going to be expanding upon like our merch line too. It's not going to be strictly just DFSM, but more sports themed to build in a bigger revenue system on that side. But to be able to do something like this, and I want to build it. We have a charity that we've partnered up with that we're going to be building some stuff in with them as well into our platform, and then I'd like to involve them in this tournament or this hockey game as well. So it's surreal because like I've been in crypto, like I said, a long time, and then to be part of a project that has the opportunity to, I got Forrest Griffin's cell phone number in my phone, or I talk to NFL pros and host celebrity hockey games. It's a cool experience, and I think it's humbling at the same time.
Yeah.
Well, Dan, I'm pretty sure I'm pretty good read of character. I'm not sure it could happen to a better guy, but congratulations on all your success. But I do have to spill the beans on one story before we get into Caleb's choice, so that we can get to know you a little bit better. So for those people that don't know, we have been following for a long, long time, and at one point actually had you scheduled to come on the program, and for reasons we won't get into, that fell through. But we had one of our most famous taste tests was scheduled for that week, and we didn't think it was going to be so bad, but we sent you sour pickle balls. So for you, and I don't think you told us that you weren't the one that tasted it. Your son was. Is that correct?
Oh.
Yeah, I left it on the kitchen table next to my computer, and he decided he wanted to try to steal Dad's candy. And well, he found out the hard way that it wasn't exactly Dad's candy that he should have taken. So I came home and he said, "Why did you buy that? That was horrible." And I was like, "It was supposed to be for you, and it was supposed to be kind of a prank or joke to see." So yeah, let's just say he regretted taking that off the table.
It was horrible, but I think that also goes towards your character, the fact they actually came back and you actually did come on the program, because the worst thing we've had, I think we can all agree that was even worse than the one chip challenge.
Yeah.
The sour pickleball was the absolute worst thing. I'm glad you couldn't come on that week, because I'd have felt horrible that you actually tried that.
That was awful.
None of us had any idea it'd be that bad.
Yeah, no, I had no idea. It was awful. Awful. Ugh.
So thanks for setting that aside. Greg.
It would suck, but
I would not eat it again.
I spit it out.
That was the only bad one.
But thanks for putting that aside and coming on today. It has been an absolute pleasure. I would love to have you back on in the future where we can catch up as the progress is made. Maybe we get closer to that charity hockey game. When is that game, by the way? Do you have a date set?
It's December 8th here in Buffalo. So there's gonna be
Okay.
2 games back to back. It's a Friday evening. So
Okay, December 8th. Well, maybe when we get closer to that, maybe, we can, if we are able to make it out there, maybe we can get you on for just a short segment just to say hi. But we tell this to all the people that we really appreciate and that we really like and that we think are coming from the right spot. If there's ever anything we can do for you, please just let us know what that is. No question is too big or too silly for us. We want to help. We just don't always know how. So please, if there's ever anything we can do, let us know. Like I said, for those that maybe are just watching this part of it, we've been following you for a really long time and seeing the trajectory of what you guys have been accomplishing and are rooting for you guys the entire way. So congratulations. I think you guys have a huge future ahead of you, and I know it couldn't happen to a better guy. So best of luck, man, for sure.
I really appreciate that.
I'm going in that Telegram, dang it. I don't really do many platforms. Discord, the only reason I'm even on here is because of this podcast. Like, that is the truth. So if there's anything that you guys need, Twitter-wise, just reach out. Just send it my way, and I'll, tweet it out and stuff. I don't always see everybody's posts. It drives me nuts. But I have recently started seeing your guys' a whole lot more. And so I'm like, oh, yes. So I have been trying to retweet and get the word out as much as I can because I think that you guys have something very special with this platform. So
thank you.
Agreed. And a lot of the people that are retweeting your things, you've got really good community members out there that represent your brand well, even though they may not be part of the brand. But I follow several people from that follow you guys and it's been an awesome journey, man. I don't know if I can say in words how excited we've been to know, since we've known you guys were coming on, how excited we've been to this build up. And hopefully we did it some justice because I don't really get starstruck, so to say, but I'm super excited to have this podcast today and have you on here because I feel like in a way we've been part of DFSM without anybody knowing that we really were, except for us telling people, check it out, because, we loved what we saw. So
I can definitely attest. They were very excited when I was like, hey guys, I think I could get, Eric reached out to me or Davis reached out to me and said, if DFS Mafia could come on the podcast. And I was like, duh, like we've been wanting them for a very long time. Like when I told the bros, we're excited. I think
been at the top of the list for a long time, and I get to check it off. So
there you go.
I'm Caleb. Please like and subscribe.